Has the full true you come out to play in your work? Where are you holding back? If you are not living the fullest version of yourself in work, you are not operating the way you were designed. We're just looking at what too many other people are doing and we're thinking, I need to be like that. We just diminish our full and true selves. Are you operating the way that God designed you? Are you in the business that God built you for? Or are you just doing what makes you money? When our work lacks or loses a deep sense of meaning, passion, or purpose, we often resort to milestones to give our work significance and keep ourselves engaged. Now, by milestones, I mean revenue goals, number of people in our program, an invitation on a certain stage or platform, the number of books sold, followers, views, downloads, size of our team, size of your warehouse, size of your retail store, size of your event. Now, milestones aren't bad. Goals are not bad. Targets aren't bad, but none of those things are going to create a deep, lasting sense of satisfaction in your work. And when passion fades, we tend to medicate with milestones. Think about this another way. When we start to lose passion for our work, we often use money and metrics to signal to ourselves that what we're doing actually really matters. And it sort of makes our work feel worthwhile. An example of this would be a business coach who no longer feels really passionate about what she's doing, but she creates because of the lack of passion, she creates a sense of satisfaction by growing her program to a certain number each year or hitting new revenue targets, right? And those get used as a substitute for truly loving the work, especially if you are like me and you tend to be productivity driven anyway. Sometimes the punch of satisfaction from the productivity is enough to keep us going when passion for what we're actually doing is fading. And if we're being honest, that way of operating may even buy you a few more years of going forward in your work and ignoring the deeper disconnection and dissatisfaction. But the point being, milestones cannot provide meaning, purpose, or deep satisfaction. They cannot replace the passion of truly feeling connected to what you're doing. Everyone who has ever hit a milestone knows that milestones give short-term pleasure, right? They don't give a deep, sustaining satisfaction. Once you hit one, right, launch day is over and the feeling fades. You end up with a launch hangover and then you need the next one, right? You need the next thing. And this is why I think we all know that success can feel a bit hollow even when things are actually working, right? We've all felt the sense of sort of shame of I should be happy with this, right? I should feel satisfied by what I've done, but really I'm just ready to move on to the next thing, like the bigger goal. And on the flip side of that, you and I have probably both experienced the deep satisfaction of a project that really did feel aligned and meaningful. Maybe for you, it was a certain event that you hosted or a book that you wrote. Maybe it was a particular client that you worked with that was just such a great fit. And whatever it was, this project was just so rewarding and so aligned that you would have done it for free. I certainly have had things like that in my life. And maybe what you're doing now started that way, right? But time in entrepreneurship, the trials of entrepreneurship, the complexity that comes with growth, or maybe just the challenges that have come with scaling, whatever it is, you've lost your passion, right? You no longer feel personally connected to it. It's no longer fueling you. It no longer feels as deeply meaningful. And if that's you, then I'm really glad that you're here because that's what we're going to dig into on the next 2 episodes. This is going to be part 1, and next week we'll be in part 2 on the topic of satisfaction in work. Now, I was recently reading a really interesting book that was talking a bit about self-determination theory. And I think self-determination theory has really interesting implications when we look at it through the lens of contentment in work. So if you're not familiar with it, self-determination theory is basically trying to answer the question of what it takes for humans to feel deeply content and satisfied. And its conclusion is that we need 3 things. It would say that we need to feel competent at what we're doing. that we need to feel that we're able to be authentically ourselves, and that we need to be connected to others, like meaningfully, deeply connected to others. And I think that has very powerful implications for the satisfaction that we find in work. Like, do I feel competent at what I'm doing? Am I able to be authentically myself? And am I connected with the people I'm serving, or am I kind of removed from them because I've grown my team, or now I'm, sitting in a CEO seat, and I'm a little more disconnected from the people that I'm serving? Self-determination theory sounds awesome. But I have my own adjacent theory about work satisfaction, specifically as Christians. And I'll just call it the 4 foundations of satisfied work, right, to make it official. But my argument personally is that we are going to be the most deeply and consistently satisfied in our work when all 4 of the following things are simultaneously present. Okay, all 4 need to be there. Number 1, when our work aligns with God's bigger picture mission and what He's doing in the world. Number 2, when we're living out of the truest, most authentic, fullest expression of how He's made us. Number 3, when we're walking in the specific good works that He planned in advance for us to walk in our current season, and that's important. And then number 4, I agree with self-determination theory. I think we're going to be most deeply satisfied when we are closely connected to the people that we serve. But I think we need all 4 of those things as believers, as image bearers. We need all 4 of those things to be present for deep work satisfaction. So this episode, we're going to look closely at the first 2, and next week we're going to look at the last 2. And I just want to give one caveat, little asterisk first. Work cannot ever completely satisfy us. Only relationship with God can do that. So post-fall, right? Post-Garden of Eden, Eve eating the fruit, curse on mankind, we are always going to struggle to find consistent satisfaction in work. It is a part of the curse that work will bring with it thorns and thistles, the way the Bible describes it. And I think the word toil is actually what's used, that our work is going to bring with it a certain amount of toil, which is like unfruitful work. So work itself was not the curse, right? The work existed before the fall of mankind. Work was good. It was a gift given by God. But toil in our work, like unfruitful, seemingly at times pointless work, was a result of the curse. It's going to take a lot of work. It's not always going to be fruitful. It's not always going to be satisfying. We're going to experience thorns and thistles growing up at the same time within our harvest. So if we are asking work to perfectly satisfy us, to complete us, we're asking it to do something that it was just never meant to do, right? That's just the bottom line. So we have to come into it with a grounded, realistic mindset that work is never going to 100% feel perfect, right? It's not going to we're not going to be perfectly satisfied in work at all times. But if you're listening to this podcast, maybe you saw the title and you clicked on it, it's likely because you feel the weight of being disconnected from your work and how it just kind of sucks the energy out of you when you're doing work that you're no longer disconnected to. And maybe if that's you, and you're wondering whether something is just wrong with you, right? Maybe you're considering whether it's time to just move on entirely. Like, you might even be in something very successful, but you've lost your passion for it. And you're like, man, am I supposed to just keep going? Or is it time for me to just move on entirely from this? And I want you to use these 4 foundations as a sort of litmus test before you just decide to burn it all down or sell it or hire someone else to run it for you. Maybe, just maybe, 1 or 2 of these foundations are just missing. And if we can restore those foundational concepts, those foundational truths, then it might bring your passion for work back. So I'm excited to explore these 4 things with you. Make sure you listen to this week's episode and next week's episode, because we're just going to start with the first 2 here. But I'm excited to jump in because I think this is going to bring hope to a lot of people who might be feeling like their passion is waning and they're not sure why, right? They're not sure why. They used to love what they did. So let's start with foundation 1. All right. Foundation 1 is that we have to have personal alignment with God's mission. And this is just my theory that we're going to be the most deeply and consistently satisfied in our work when it aligns with God's bigger picture mission and what he's doing in the world. I actually did an entire episode on this if you go back and listen to episode 8. But the punchline is that God has a master plan for the world. Like, he has something that he is accomplishing. He is restoring everything broken by sin and bringing his kingdom down to earth. And our work, the businesses that we run, the work that we do, can and should participate in that. And my argument is just that if we are, as the Bible describes, image bearers of God, we bear the image of God, and we also are internally dwelt by the Spirit of God. If we have the Holy Spirit inside of us, then it would we'd logically conclude that we're going to be most intrinsically satisfied when we're doing the work that he is doing. Psalm 36:8 kind of describes we're drinking from the river of his delights, right? God in us delights in certain things, namely the plan that he's carrying out of restoring and reconciling people to himself and broken things and systems. That's one of the many things that he delights in. And so when we participate in what delights him, the Spirit in us is delighted, enjoys the delight of the Holy Spirit, of the Heavenly Father. So what is God doing? He is progressively restoring everything broken by sin in Genesis 3. Sin introduced disorder and decay into every sphere of life, right? So let's think about that. What was broken? Our connection with God was broken. Our connection in relationships is broken, right? We see marriages falling apart, families falling apart, friendships, physical health, mental health, emotional health, all are decaying, right, in our society. Systems, governments, organizations, all are distorted by sin, by greed, by laziness, by hunger for power. We see that the physical world itself is moving toward decay, right? Our pursuits of happiness even are distorted. So we see there's not an area of human existence, physical or spiritual, that is not subject to decay as a result of the fall of man. And so we see God's heart in Acts 3:21 for the restoration of all things. It says Jesus is returning until the time for restoring all things. So the question is just, how is my business participating in God's restoration? How is my business participating in God's restoration? Some examples of this are, do you help heal relationships, right? Does your work, your business help to heal marriages? Does it help to heal teams or families? Does your business strengthen emotional or mental health, right? Does it restore health mentally, emotionally? Does it bring order to chaos? And that chaos might be in business operations, right? In finances, in environments, right? I think of like organizers. Does your business participate in healing bodies in some way? Do you participate in creating systems that reflect justice and integrity? Are you helping connect people with God? Are you contributing to human and environmental flourishing? We also, though, image God as creators, right? Creatives, as builders, as artists, purely by just reflecting his creative nature. So in that regard, even a trash collector images God by bringing order and preventing decay. So there's real dignity in that work. There's real dignity in all work that images what God is doing and what he cares about. So your next step here is really simple. Just ask him and do some reflective journaling. Like, Lord, does what I'm doing, does this business that I've created connect to what you're doing? What small area am I restoring? What area of life am I helping to restore? What corner of the marketplace am I bringing the ways of your kingdom into? Okay, so that has to be in place. The Spirit of God in us delights in specific things. And when we can join him in the things he delights in, we are going to experience delight. There are three basic things that are absolutely critical to business growth if you're a Christian entrepreneur. Number one, you need the mentorship of high caliber women who are ahead of you in business. Number two, you need mastermind level collaboration, strategic collaboration with other ambitious, values aligned peers. And you need the truth and the strategies and the spirit led insights that God has for you. If you don't have these three things in place, I just want to invite you to check out Illume Network. Illume is a faith-based entrepreneurial network for 6, 7, and 8-figure Christian female entrepreneurs who are looking for that kind of high-level mentorship, strategic collaboration with peers, and kingdom business strategy to guide their business growth. If you are building something meaningful and you're done doing it alone, I hope that you'll head to illumenetwork.com to learn more and consider applying, because this is the room that you have been looking for, and I would love to see you there. All right, so let's look at foundation number two. Foundation number two is that we are able to authentically express how he made us. And the theory there is just that we're going to be most deeply satisfied in our work when we are living out the truest, most authentic, fullest expression of who he made us uniquely, you and I uniquely, who he made us to be. I love this mic drop, Soren Kierkegaard. I don't know if I'm even saying that right, but he has this mic drop quote that says that the most common form of human despair is not being who you are. The most common form of human despair is not being who you are. Guys, we have more access than ever before in all of history to watching what other people are doing and how they're doing it. And for better or for worse, this creates a culture of mimicking. We see how somebody else presents themselves online, and we think, oh, that's what's needed. That's what's required. That's what works. And we remove the flavor from our personality. We remove our unique take, our strengths, our quirks, and we just sort of tend to present the most socially acceptable version of ourselves. We end up trading authenticity for acceptance. And the problem is we rob our own joy in doing that. Erwin McManus, speaking of great quotes, one of my all-time favorite Erwin McManus quotes, and I'll paraphrase this, but he basically says, we should all be on a quest to live the fullest, truest, most courageous, honorable, excellent version of ourselves. Every choice is an opportunity to kill the lesser version of you. I love that quote. And so my question is just, has the full true you come out to play in your work? Where are you holding back? Where are you hiding? Where are there skills that you are just not putting to use? If you are not living the fullest, most authentic version of yourself in work, you are not operating the way you were designed, right? So of course there's not going to be full, deep satisfaction because only a small part of you is coming out to play. Maybe because you think that that's what's required. I mean, I know that women feel this a lot because the entrepreneurial industry can be so masculine, right? And so we tend to diminish our femininity in the way we would approach things, the way we would communicate. And so we see that certainly in women in the marketplace that feel that they have to be a certain way, present a certain way in order to be socially accepted, right? Or accepted in any given room. But even just beyond that, we're just looking at what too many other people are doing and we're thinking, oh, I need to be like that. I need to look like that. I need to sound like that. I need to act like that. I need to do it in that way. And in doing so, we just diminish our full and true selves. And so, of course, we are also going to be diminishing our satisfaction because it's just a part of you showing up, not the full you. So in your work, are you being your authentic self? Are you being truly you? Has the whole, full, true you come out to play? Are you operating the way that God designed you? Are you working in the way that he designed you? Are you walking out your unique purpose? I mean, are you in a business because you just know that it can be successful, or are you in the business that God built you for, right? Are you walking out your purpose, your unique calling, using your unique gifts, or are you just doing what makes you money? Are you just doing what makes you money? So here are 2 questions that I really want you to sit with before next week. Number 1, does your work connect to what God is doing in the world? Big picture. Are you doing that work in a way that lets you be your full, true, authentic self? Those are the 2 questions. Like, does my work, Lord? And don't answer these things intellectually. That's always going to be my challenge for you. Sit, listen, and journal. Lord, does my work as a XYZ fill in the blank connect to what you're doing in the world? And then, am I doing that work in a way that is fully, authentically me? Because sometimes we don't see it. We get so used to playing these roles that we even lose track of who we are, right? We focus so much on persona. And the world elevates persona, right? How you've crafted yourself, that we can lose sight of the person, who we actually are. We can confuse persona for person. Those 2 things should be the same, right? We should be our truest, most authentic self publicly as a persona, but sometimes that gets lost if we're being honest. That can get lost. So here's what I want you to just focus on specifically is like, are you mimicking or emulating others in the ways that you're working? Are there aspects that feel forced or fake or unnatural? Where are you hiding or downplaying unique parts of yourself, right? Where are you trading authenticity for acceptance, right? Are you forcing yourself to do something or continue something in a way that just isn't you? It's just not aligned with how you were built and the unique aspects of who you are. And I would also say that there are times when we get into a certain lane of business, and most likely that lane of business, even if it's very successful, doesn't allow us to fully express who we are and what we love and the other things that we're passionate about. I mean, I have personally owned a stock image site, Elevate Visuals, that provides commercial imagery for female entrepreneurs. It's a stock image membership. Gorgeous, beautiful, stunning images that came out of my years in commercial photography. But just having that business did not allow me to operate in these other parts of me, like this, the Bible teacher, the business coach. That business didn't allow me to be my full self in it. And so I had to decide, okay, am I going to keep this? Am I going to expand? Am I going to do something else? Am I going to have multiple businesses? But I knew that I was not fully satisfied just in that business because I have all these other parts of me, right, that want to come out to play. I want to use these other strengths and skills. So for me, that meant building another business where I could use those strengths and skills. And for some of you, it means pivoting in business so that you can use those other parts of yourself that are asking to be used and would lead to a deep sense of satisfaction. So those 2 things need to be in place, but those 2 things alone are not enough, right? Just doing what God is doing, participating in that, and just being your authentic self, that's not enough. There's still 2 other things, and we need all 4. So we're going to look at the next 2 next week. But before I close, I just want to pray over you and your business this week. Lord, would you show us where our work overlaps with what you love and what you're doing in the world? Would you help us to be honest with ourselves about where we are lacking satisfaction in work, and what might be contributing to that? God, if there are areas that we have not fully come out to play, we are not being fully and authentically our true self, will you bring those things to mind when we're talking to you about this? Would you just bring those things up in our spirit, and show us, give us wisdom and discernment and leadership around what to do about those areas? God, would you encourage us? I want to be encouraged that it is possible, while work is not perfect, it is possible for work to be deeply satisfying, not perfectly satisfying, but deeply satisfying. And I think when we are in alignment with you and in alignment with ourselves, we're going to find that work becomes deeply and sustainably satisfying. And so I pray that over every person that is hearing my voice right now. I pray for deep, satisfying work that they love to do, that they go to bed thinking about at night because they're stressed, not because they're anxious, but just because they're so excited to get to participate in it. They're excited for the next day. They love the challenge. They love what they're building. It's so fulfilling and rewarding. God, I just speak that over these men and women listening to this podcast. And I ask that you would lead us clearly into work that feels like that, God, that we would wake up in the morning excited to get to our desk, that even when it is hard or challenging, we just have a deep sense of joy and satisfaction in it because of the ways that we're imaging you and the ways that we're showing up fully the way you made us to. So I just thank you that that can be true. Thank you for the joy of partnering with you in entrepreneurship and getting to experience you through the context of entrepreneurship. That's such a gift. Not everybody gets to experience that. And so would you lead us away from just money, away from just milestones, away from just mimicking what we see other people doing, and lead us into deeply satisfying, authentic work aligned with your will, Lord. I just speak blessing over the men and women listening. God, would you provide wisdom, discernment, and leadership for them this week as they go into their workday? And Lord, would you continue to just reveal more of yourself in a way that provides so much deep comfort for us, knowing that we are not alone in this. And I just pray all of this in the sweet name of Jesus. All right. That was fun. We've got 2 more to go. You need all 4. Don't skip next week, and I'll see you on the next episode.